So since we started Drivepoint, I probably had the opportunity to work with somewhere on the order of, I don't know, 1,000 CPG brands. And the demand planning, pricing, COGS question comes up with every single one of these brands. It is the holy grail of running a CPG brand where the rubber meets the proverbial road in terms of getting your unit sales and your order forecast and your inventory all to line up. And the problem that trips people up is usually not what you might think. So give us a second and we'll dive into the sort of secret about why everyone sucks at demand planning. Okay, so the big secret isn't that big of a secret. Anyone who's run a consumer brand will know this by heart. But in theory, demand planning should be a really simple math problem. You have a number of units that you have on hand, you have some additional units coming into the warehouse, and you have units going out of the warehouse for sales. So you add all that stuff up over the course of a period, you should know exactly what you've got to sell. If you have a good forward forecast, you can then do the math and figure out what you're going to need to sell, what you're going to need to order going forward. So from an arithmetic standpoint, it's fairly simple. Now, getting to that arithmetic is actually very hard. And the number one thing that we see trip people up has nothing to do with the math. It has nothing to do with the timing. It's something even simpler. And that is the naming and the taxonomy of your products. So almost everybody has a slightly different SKU convention on Amazon, on Shopify, with their retailers, in their order management system, in QuickBooks. They have all of this product data scattered across all of these different systems. None of the naming is complete. None of it ties together, and it makes for an absolute nightmare when you're trying to stitch all this data together. Usually what happens is you've got a demand planner, they've got a financial model, they've got a demand model, and somewhere in that Excel file is a mapping tab where you have a column of names from one source and a column of names from another source, and you're manually matching them up so that you can do a VLOOKUP and try and figure out where that data should go so that you can get the pricing aligned with the sales, aligned with the inventory counts, and get everything to marry up with a clean list of products that makes sense to you and the rest of the business. So we're super excited that we are launching a product mapping tool for Drivepoint. What this is intended to do is help solve that exact problem. So instead of a million different mapping tabs and a million different spreadsheets, that mapping ends up in one canonical place in the data warehouse where it belongs. And every time you export product data, whether that's SKU data, whether that's inventory data, whether that's sales data, you can tie all these things together with a common product taxonomy. This kind of by definition has to live in a layer above the end sources because Amazon has certain conventions, NetSuite has conventions, and ultimately it's not worth trying to change all of that source data to match a single convention. You've got all kinds of other things that might be running on it. But from a reporting and analytics perspective, we want to have that top-down list so that you can make board reports that have a consistent list of SKUs, so that you can get inventory forecasts and a consistent list. And you have a way to just talk to the business about the SKUs and categories that make sense to you. So the product mapping feature is awesome. It helps you do exactly that. It's 100% driven by AI. Any AI product that you want to use, you can use to help us do the mapping. We've released a product mapping skill directly as part of the Drivepoint MCP. So you can say, hey, Drivepoint, just map my products for me, figure it out. Go with all of the different SKUs and put that stuff together into logical families. Or you can say, hey, figure it out. And here's a list of the categories that I want everything to end up in, and let the AI tools do the work to get there, combined with our skill. Once that's done, the entire table of mappings gets stored into the Drivepoint data layer. And then all of your subsequent product pulls, inventory pulls, exports can run off of that same mapping. It can be managed for you without having to do a ton of manual mapping work. And you can finally get that clean, consistent look across all your products, all your SKUs, all your inventory. So if that's an issue that you have and you're solving it with mapping tables or you're solving it with VLOOKUPs, give us a shout, come check it out. And we're excited to show it to you. Thanks.